the body is a miracle. It's a non-rational answer to your issues.
And being what's considered a bigger body than most bodies.
You would like to lose weight?
No, it's not my reality.
Here. I came here to find the fact that I have my own sense about my body, weight, my experience. Who would like to work? Laura.
Hi.
Hi. So, how do we start?
I can share what I have on my mind.
What is on your mind? Where are you from?
I'm originally from Italy, and I live in the Netherlands now, in Amsterdam.
Oh, you do?
Yes, I
Wow, okay.
do. The first one that's on my mind is working on my body size and being what's considered a bigger body than most bodies. And the other,
Is there a health issue? Do you feel there's a health issue involved?
I really
No?
don't. But there is another one that's connected, or that's now coming up, and it's sleeping apnea, like
Sleeping
Okay.
apnea.
not being able to sleep at night,
Yeah.
like waking up at night
Okay.
when stop breathing. So those two things were on my mind.
Okay.
Yeah,
How about we start with the second?
with the sleeping apnea,
Well, I don't know. What do you think?
It's clearer. So yes, yeah,
Okay.
it was good.
And then, are you saying that you would like to lose weight?
No,
Oh, so why do you think that your body is a health issue?
would I like to lose weight? Part of me yes, and part of me no. I don't necessarily think that being overweight is a health issues on its own. A lot of how it's addressed, it is seen as health issues. And then now I'm experiencing sleeping apnea.
Oh.
How did you find out?
Yeah.
They told me.
Who's they?
So a friend of mine heard me sleeping, and she said, you might want to look into it, because you might have sleeping apnea. And then I did some tests. And
How do they test this?
they put all kind of wires.
When you sleep.
Oh, you have like you had a sleepogram.
It's a home test. They come at home, they put all the wires, and then they tell you, sleep normally, which is impossible. and then they get the results.
In the wires now.
All
you're
wires
supposed
down. And it's like, now sleep normally. And yeah, I don't know if I slept normally, but it turned out that I didn't sleep well. And I stopped breathing many times overnight.
You did? You stopped breathing a few times overnight.
Many times, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then how come you woke up in the morning?
Yeah.
You stopped breathing for a while and then you started again?
Yes, so that's
Right.
what happens. It's basically, I stop breathing and then I breathe again throughout the night. And then at one point I wake up and I actually just am woken up.
Okay. How is your sleep now these days? You sleep okay?
Most of the night I feel I sleep okay. I think I'm having a bit of this nocebo effect that
Okay.
just
Because they
starts
told you.
Oh,
When did
a
they
year
tell
and a
you?
half ago. I found out.
Okay.
And it was a bit weird because they said, oh, now we know why you are so tired during the day and always exhausted. And I said, I never said I would be tired and exhausted. And it's like, oh, but you clearly are, since you stop breathing 50 times every hour. And I'm like, I'm not tired. So,
Wow.
yeah. There was a bit of,
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
I
But
know.
you feel sad because why? Do you dance, by the way?
I do dance.
Really?
Well,
Like,
when there is music.
And
Or when I feel like dancing.
Really?
Yeah.
what kind of music?
It depends. I like to move my body. Like I like to dance. And, yeah.
okay.
Okay. Yeah.
I like when you cry. It looks good on you.
Yeah, it does.
It does.
It's very.
What's good about it?
Yeah, it reminds me of I grew up there. All these mountain waterfalls.
Yeah.
Reminds me of it.
Okay. That's a beautiful image.
It's beautiful.
So let's see. Well, what we do know is, can I confer with my
Yes.
colleague? What we do know is that that there's something abusive in the diagnosis.
Yes.
But the thing that got the strongest response was the sadness about all this medical attitude.
Diagnosis. Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yes. Yeah.
So let's try.
Okay.
Shall we try?
Yeah.
And maybe we can ask you
Yeah.
to come on this side and be the doctor.
Yeah.
Then you and me. Oh, you. Oh, yeah. That's really good.
Okay.
And I'm you.
Okay.
Okay. So I'd like to get to know the doctor more.
Okay.
Okay. You can start out with anything. Did ever anyone tell you about sleep apnea and body weight or
Yeah.
whatever?
Well, I can bring the things that I remember
Yeah,
them saying.
exactly.
It's like, oh, it's great that the results came out because now we know why you're so tired, and we see it here is really severe apnea. But we can give you this machine, and then you can sleep with the machine, and then you'll be fine. And
So, but I'm sorry, I have no complaint. I'm never tired. And, well, I mean, I'm tired like normally.
yeah,
And I feel good. And the only reason why I'm here is because my friend that was sleeping next to me said I stopped breathing.
but this is really severe, and it has serious consequences. So you need to
Like what?
fix. Your heart can collapse. Your lifespan will be shortened. You'll be extremely tired during the day, fatigue, brain fog. You will not be able to function. So it's a very serious thing. We need to treat it.
Huh. So, right. So, okay. What did you say to the doctor?
What did I say to the doctor? I said, okay, let's treat it.
Okay.
And then I said I would like to find out more of what happens actually, like the dynamics of the breathing, because I know that there are several approaches to treating sleeping apnea, and I wanted to understand a bit more about it. So I asked to do another test to look more into it. And they said, oh, but this test, we cannot do it now because you first need to lose weight. Because it might be not okay to do this test right now. So for now, just try this machine and try to sleep with this machine. So I said, okay, I'll try.
When was that?
That was 8 months ago, something like
okay.
that. Like
Right.
a
How's
year.
it going since?
Very good. I stopped using the machine after 3
All right.
days.
After 3 days?
Well, after a month. I
Okay.
gave it a month
Okay.
of trying.
Okay.
It was horrible.
Okay.
I stopped.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. So you look really happy when you say I stopped the
Very good.
machine.
Yeah, it was horrible.
No?
Yeah.
So let's forget the machine.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Let's forget the doctors for now.
Okay.
Let's forget the apnea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have anything in your body and you said the weight, and then you said I don't feel that, you cry. Maybe the weight is the same thing. You look comfortable in your body.
Yeah, I do. It's a bit like everybody else is not.
I am.
Thank you.
And I mean, a lot of other people in here are.
Yeah,
Don't you
great.
think?
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
What?
That's not my experience about other people
Uh-huh.
perceiving my body.
Okay, now comes other people with their weight.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
I'll be the other people.
okay.
Yeah. You both look wrong.
We both look
You both look wrong.
grown.
So do you.
Wrong.
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 Yeah. Your weight, you have too much, you have too little.
You sound wrong.
I sound wrong?
Yeah. You sound.
How do you mean?
What do you mean, how do I mean? You sound completely wrong.
Right? It's clear that it's wrong.
The words that come out of your mouth sound wrong. They sound like shit.
Right. Are you saying that shit's supposed to come out here and not here? I got the holes wrong.
You got the holes wrong for sure.
Okay. I can follow that. Okay. Okay. Point taken.
Point
Okay.
taken.
Thank you.
Okay.
Great.
So what allows you to fight back to me? I'm like a person and I'm saying what everybody else is thinking, but you have the courage or the audacity or the wrongness to fight back to me.
Yeah.
You know deep in your heart I'm right.
I know deep in my heart you're wrong. I love to dance and I love to live, and anything that makes me feel bad, I know it's wrong.
Yeah, that one I don't fully.
You don't agree?
No, not necessarily, but
Give me example of something that could make you feel bad but still be right.
I don't know. For an example, is I'm making
Yeah.
a bitter vegetable. It's terrible to eat, but it's healthy, so you don't enjoy the taste, but it's okay.
Okay.
Okay, I can follow
So
that.
sometimes something can feel bad, but it can be cleansing.
Okay.
Okay.
I can follow that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let's give her some bitter medicine.
Okay.
You ready?
Sure.
Okay. It's cleansing. Okay. Okay. So, you think that maybe sometimes you go along with people's opinion without that you really feel it.
That's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So they were right when you say you have brain fog. That was the bitter medicine, but you laughed.
I mean, I understand. Sometimes I go along the person.
Yeah. So now, do you want to go outside for a moment?
Me?
Yeah, no, out here, so you
Yeah.
can watch.
Yeah.
Okay? Now I play you,
Okay.
and say, here, see, you have to understand, I'm playing you. I'm playing you, I'm trying to play you and see if it hits the point.
Okay.
I actually have my own opinion, my own experiences. And I don't need to be told by you what's right and wrong. And I don't need to be told by you what's right and wrong. I know myself what is right and wrong. I know what's the right thing for me. I know what my body needs when. And I know that, and sometimes you might have a point, and then I'm open to listening it. That might make me feel bad, but I'm not like a sugar addict and everything has to be sweet. But no, if you give me something bitter and I feel it's good for me, I will take it.
Wow.
And that's me. So, I am here in the middle, working and showing everybody else that my own experience is my guide. My own inner experience is my guide, and eigensinnig. Eigensinnig means own sensing. I have my own sense of what is.
Wow.
So actually, don't came here for help. I came here to find the fact that I have my own sense, and that my own sense about my body, weight, my experience is based on me, and if they come and they make all these conclusions, but at the moment I feel good, I stopped using the machine, I still feel good. So there's no reason for me at this point to do something about this. Should that ever change, I'll take the bitter medicine and I'll do it.
Wow.
You like?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Good for you.
Wow. That's fantastic.
Yeah. What do you think? You look touched.
Yes, it was spot on.
Spot on?
And I feel sometimes I need help to do this. I think sometimes I need help to do this.
You need support.
Yeah.
You need support
Yeah.
because you're in an environment after a while you start to feel crazy.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
So you need people who say, yes, that's who you are. Did you feel that? You were agreeing with this, but you weren't agreeing with this, but you were agreeing with this. You were not agreeing with the doctor. You were not agreeing with this, but you also weren't agreeing with, no, I'm gonna like this.
Yeah, then
have
I
your
go
own
a
thing.
bit.
You
I lose myself, and so I need
Yeah.
support to get my
You
clarity.
need to lose yourself so you can find yourself again.
I need to lose myself. So I
Well,
can-
that's how you lose yourself. These doctors are helping you.
Oh, okay. The
Exactly.
reality that they are talking about is like, well,
Yeah.
that's not my
Yeah.
reality, and
Yeah.
you're saying it with so
Yeah.
much certainty.
You know the basic concept of process work.
What are the best?
No, the basic concept of process work that Arnold Mindell had was process work is a phenomenological approach. If you can't experience it, don't believe it.
Okay.
This whole work that you see here is what you experience. Believe what you experience. Whatever tells you someone, be open to considering it, but don't believe it till you can experience it.
Yeah. It's interesting. I feel most of the time I would believe in something very different than what people around me might be feeling. But okay.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Can we, so you said you need support, can we here in the front or anyone in the group support you in following that?
I wouldn't know.
Okay.
I wouldn't. I
Think
mean,
about it.
Just feeling that there are people like you in the world, it's helpful.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Beautiful.